a zoo. YouTuber vlogging, backwards cap wearing. Rudy's a zoo. Rudy's a zoo. Rudy's a zoo. Hi, and welcome to Rudy's the Zoo's Science Fantasy Experience. So, about 2 weeks ago, I did a video on my top 5 console games of all time, and last week I did a Figure Force video on my pocket money memories. So I've been doing some kind of non-toy related videos, and I've really been enjoying doing that. And I was spending a bit of time with the collection, and I just thought to myself, when I refer to the collection in my videos, it's because it's so much more than just toys. It's this amalgamation of toys, memories, experiences, memorabilia and collectibles. It's, you know, it's one entity. And I just thought I'd share a few other Transformer related bits and pieces that I have. So first up, we have got some Ladybird books. So this one is actually one from my childhood, which I fondly remember, and this one I found in a charity shop. So this one, I know it's my childhood one because there's biro in it and felt tip pens. But these are an integral part of my childhood. Bedtime story time was a few of these. They actually came with cassettes though, and I didn't like the cassettes. I didn't like them at all, which is funny because I also had a He-Man Ladybird book, and I really liked the cassette tape of that one, but the Transformers one, nah, not so much. And I think it's because it didn't have the transforming noise. Instead, it had this weird wizard magical spell ping noise whenever they transformed, and I guess I just couldn't relate to it because it wasn't like the cartoon. You know, I expected to hear, you know, the ascending and the descending transformation noise. So I never really listened to the cassettes. But these are so good. If you just grab a random page, the artwork's incredibly good. It's just stereotypical of the time. That's a really interesting version of Optimus Prime. In some ways, that's not really what when I think of Optimus Prime, that's not, especially G1 Optimus Prime, I don't really think of his head being that spherical at all. And then if you look at the Autobots Fight Back, here we go, this is a good page. That's how they showed the transformation, a blurred picture with inked out kind of robots into their car modes with the surrounding bits of marks that show it. Again, another Prime that looks different to the other image. But my favourite part of these books was always the back page, because you got the really cool pictures of Optimus and Megatron done in their toy form, and then you got a little bio of the characters. They're incredibly interesting, fun books to read once again as an adult. They're really well written, for sure. Unlike this book. So this I got at a car boot sale last year for 20p, and it is from Marks and Spencer's of all places, and I don't even remember having a book like this as a kid. But again, the artwork's completely different to the Ladybird books, and this story is rubbish. It's just really, it's for kids obviously, and it doesn't feel like Transformers. It just feels like a storybook. It's, you know, it's Famous Five, it's Secret Seven, it's that kind of, oh, we went to this place and there were some Decepticons there, and it's very young. But the reason why I bought it is not for the cover or the story, it is for this inside. This is
ridiculously good piece of artwork, and it is my favourite iteration of Megatron. The gold plated Megatron. I think that is a phenomenal picture of Megatron. I've always loved seeing Megatron in the comics with, or especially in the annuals, with his gold chest. If I was ever to get another Megatron toy, I'd want to get one that was gold. I don't need another Megatron. I've got a G1 E-Hobby Black Megatron, which is the Megatron that I want for my collection. I don't feel the need to get another Megatron, but if I did, if money was no object, I'd love to get that gold-plated masterpiece Megatron. So yeah, those are my fun childhood books, but I also have another book which is quite dear to my heart now, and it is the Transformers Classics, and this is the Bumblebee edition, volume 3, and it's got loads of awesome stories from the UK comics from, I feel like, does it actually say, yeah, 87 and 88, and the artwork in here is incredible. I loved reading the Transformers comic, picking that up either every week or every month back in 86, 87, and the stories are so good with Buster Witwicky. But this one has been signed by Bumblebee himself, Dan Gill. When I went to Auto Assembly in 2013, I had to queue for, I think it must be like 45 minutes to meet Dan Gilvezan, and I was right at the end of the queue. It was quite later on the Sunday before his panel, and I could see that time was ticking away, and I was the last person in the line, and they'd stopped the line, and I don't know if Dan Gilvezan had noticed, or one of the helpers had said, that guy's been at the end of the line for absolutely ages and ages. And I got to actually sit and chat with him for 20 minutes, which is crazy, because everyone else was just literally getting his book signed and whatever they wanted signed. And I actually got to sit and chat with him for, as I said, a good 20 minutes. Maybe because he felt sorry because I'd been waiting so long, or just because we had interesting things to talk about. He'd never seen that Classics book, so he actually asked me if I would lend it to him for a little bit to read before he went on, and I was like, sure, absolutely. And I was just like, read the Buster Witwicky and the Car Wash of Doom, because that's one of my absolute favourite stories, and you get a lot of Rat-Bat in there. And that was the only thing we talked about in terms of Bumblebee. We spent, I'd say, a good 10-15 minutes actually talking about Spider-Man and his amazing friends, because he voiced Spider-Man, and we spent all the time talking about that instead and not Bumblebee. Go to a Transformers convention and talk about superheroes instead. I guess that's my thing. It was so good to speak to him, and that book now has a lot more personal value to me than just the nostalgic reading of comics from way back when, which is awesome, obviously, and to have it signed as well. It's this amalgamation of a lot of the things that I like. Spider-Man and his amazing friends is my favourite iteration of Spider-Man. You all have these kind of favourite, when a superhero has been played multiple times, you gravitate to one that you enjoy the most. Batman, the animated series, is my Batman. The Spider-Man, his amazing friend Spider-Man is my favourite Spider-Man. It was incredibly cool to speak to him about playing Spider-Man. It was really, really cool. What else have we got in the collectibles? We have got this. So this was a gift from one of my best friends for my birthday a couple of years ago, maybe 2014, and it is a framed bit of Transformers the movie. It is actually one of the storyboard sheets, and I believe it is the bit on Quintessa when Grimlock says, "Me Grimlock, execute them," and he points to the Quintessons. It's really cool. I know barely anything about how animation works, but I know back in the day that each bit would be storyboarded and each sheet would be done in blue, and then it would be inked over, and you can see that it's got the blue lines and the penciled outline to set it out, and you can see that it's numbered with which frame it is. It's got 110 hashtag 3 SC 96 700-08, whatever that means in the terms of the running time or the sequence of events for Transformers the movie. This is a super cool collectible, and I love it. It adds that extra dimension to my collection. It's just a really fun piece to have next to my Transformers. It's usually up against Metroplexes there and Makitoy's Green Giant, slightly kind of out shot, but he's there. I always say I don't theme my shelves, but I've kind of got a little bit of theming going on there. And then the final collectible piece I have is a gift for my 40th birthday last year from my best friend James. When he found out I was going to TFN and I said who the big star was, he couldn't believe that Stan Bush was going to be there. And literally the night before I was travelling up to Birmingham, he pops round and he hands me this. And he's like, "Sorry, I'm a bit late with your 40th birthday present." I'm like, "You didn't even have to get me anything. Like, you came to my party, we spent loads of time together. I didn't, I don't need a gift, I don't want a gift. It's, you didn't have to do that." And he goes, "Yeah, but I want to." And yeah, he picked up this, and he got it from Record Store Day, I feel like a few years ago, and he'd been keeping it safe. And I was lucky enough to meet Stan and show him this record, and again he was like, "Oh wow, I've not seen that," and he had a proper look at it. And this thing is a huge gatefold, ridiculously big vinyl. I worked for 10 years in a record store, and I have incredible memories of working there, and the artwork is super detailed and so different to artwork that we get throughout the years of Transformers. It's a phenomenal record. I've never played it, and I don't want to play it, which is, I don't know if I'm not treating myself or I'm wanting to keep it pristine. I don't want to scratch the record, because records have a certain unique sound to them. They pop, they crackle, they sound different to when you listen to it digitally. I've got the soundtrack on CD somewhere, and I've got it digitally, and you can easily just type into YouTube and watch a live version of Stan playing the touch. And I think the reason I don't want to play it is, if I get one of the sleeves out, is that it is clear vinyl. So purple for Decepticons for side 3 and 4. I don't think you'll pick it up, but yeah, there's the Decepticon logo, and then the Autobot logo is red. It's a piece that it's filled with memories, and it's filled with nostalgia, and all these things, as I said, I'm going to slightly repeat myself, it's an amalgamation of my collection, and it's what means the most to me. These are in some ways just pieces of plastic, but when you tie them in with a book or a collectible, it becomes this unique piece of your life that you treasure and hold dear. So yeah, those have been a few of my Transformer related collectibles. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks, bye.